glimpse of how the men dress. To read.
Exodus chapter 28 and verse 29. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen.
Right, so the men had on a coat. Listen carefully. We get to the dress code. This is just the external garment. We start with the external to the internal.
And thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen.
So they had on a coat and they had on a covering on the hair. What we call a turban wrap. Read.
And thou shalt make the girdle of needlework.
I had on a broad band around the waist. It's called a girdle. It had needlework. It was beautiful in color.
And for Aaron's son thou shalt make coats.
So Aaron's sons had on coats, which are the Levites.
And make for them girdles.
And they had on girdles, bands around the waist. They had on a coat and an inner garment, but they just see the band like a wrestler's band. So when they walk in, had like a cape flying. And they still had on another garment. Read.
Shalt thou make them for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, and they may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Right.
And thou shalt make them linen breeches.
Right. So this is the internal garment now. They had on a pants. Breeches, what you see here, if you go Google it, the word modern is called pants. So God says make pants for them. So on a pants, another garment, a band around here, and then an external garment. Right, so when the men roll and the men look royal, and plus a covering on the hair. So let me show you something, Daniel 7:31. We get another image of how they dress. This is Exodus. Right, this is Exodus. We give you a before Exodus now. This is all the way in the time of the Babylonians.
The book of Daniel, chapter 3 and verse 21.
Right.
Then these men were bound in their courts.
So this is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And you heard, right? Which we ordered as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but the biblical name for them was Mishael, Hananiah, and Azariah. So they were the ones that were thrown into fire. So they were bounded by their coats.
Their hosen.
Their hosen. Right? There's the undergarment now, the pants. That's called the pants. Another name, hosen, the pants. So the men snatch them by the pants, snatch off the garment external, and the men throw them here.
And their hats. And their garments.
And they had on a hat.
And were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
So you see, our imagery of clothing have been given to us through the eyes of the oppressor. So even if you look at this image, you're going to see here on here a coat, a garment underneath, and the hosen is the broad band here. But let me show you how Christ rocked it in the time of the Romans, which is, his time is after the Romans. Let me show you in the time of Romans how Christ dressed. Revelation 1. We bring alive the image.
Nathaniel,
what? You got a big name, bro. So guess what? You come in the right time, because we're going to read here for clothing for the system, but yet they're going to deal with the image of Christ. So come closer, Nathaniel, because when the Bible see Nathaniel, they say, here we say Israelite who there's no guile. Perfect, upright. So look at this here, listen up carefully.
Revelation chapter 1 and 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
So this is describing Christ. He's called the Son of Man because his father was a man. His father's name was Joseph and his mother's name is Mary. So that's why he says he's the son of a man. Alright, read on. So there was no angel as his father. So in the Bible, men and women come together and you get children. Alright, read on.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So mommy, Christ had on a garment down to the foot. That's the external coat. A long garment down to the foot.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So around the paps is the waistline. He had on a band around the waist. That's the band that we read about earlier. Right?
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So the Bible says Christ, the hair on his head and the hair on his face, it was white, but the texture was like what?
Like wool.
Like wool. What type of hair do you have, youngster Nathaniel? Say that again.
Hair like wool.
That means you got hair like Christ.
Yes.
Christ got woolly hair. You got hair just like Christ. So that image there got straight here. That ain't woolly hair. Right? Read on.
As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass.
So Christ's feet look like fine brass. Brass is a brownish color. This is brass actually. So if you're going to mention the complexion of someone, you're gonna look around. My sister, she foot look brownish, your one look brownish, mommy foot look brownish outside the socks. Alright? Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So Christ had a complexion that looked like if it get burned up in a furnace. So if you burn anything up, I know mommy might know this answer before you. Mom, if you burn something up, what color it becomes? No. If you cook it right, if you cooking a breadfruit and it get burned up, what color it becomes? Right. So the Bible said Christ's color was like what?
As if they burned in a furnace.
Christ had a color that looked like if it burned in a furnace, mommy. You get it, Flo? So what color was Christ really? He was what?
Black.
Man said with some confidence, Nathaniel.
He was black.
That's right. So Christ is a black man. So that make you what? That make you like Christ. So if you like Christ, who are you? Who are you according to the Bible? You know which nation Christ came from? Christ was an Israelite. Christ came from the tribe, the nation of Israel, from this tribe here, from Judah. And you were a brother, or you came from what? Benjamin. So we are all Israelites. We are the same family. So that's why you have here just like Christ. Because we are the same people that Christ came from. So that means you're an Israelite according to the Bible. Alright? And if you're an Israelite, do you know what God wants you to do, Nathaniel? Because I can show you what that name means. Give me Deuteronomy 10 verse 12. Soon finish, mom. Because now you gotta go, right, moms? You gotta go. So we soon finish. Listen what Nathaniel names really mean.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
So there was a person in Israel named Nathaniel. And our leader named Nathaniel too. Yeah, we call him Bishop Nathaniel. Alright? So that's a powerful name you're walking around with, brother. Alright? So let's see what Nathaniel used to be doing in the Bible.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
So the real Nathaniel had fear of God. Meaning he said, if God said to do something, I gotta do it. If God said don't do it, I ain't gonna do it. Read on.
To walk in all his ways.
So whatever God said to do, I can just do.
And to love him. And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So the real Nathaniel said, I love God and I can serve him with all my heart and with all thy soul. But how can you serve God with all your heart and soul? How can you do that? We're going to show you what it means to be good. Read on again. Listen up carefully.
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So that's how you show that you love God. That's how you show by being good. By doing what? Keeping what?
To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So, in order to show God you love him, you got to do what?
Keep the commandments of the Lord.
Right. So based on God's commandment, today is Sabbath. Based on God's commandment, you hear about the 10 commandments? Alright, we go check it out. But guess what? The 4th commandment is this.
Book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
That's why God said holy men is do holy things. So the real Nathaniel was given the commandments. So you are being told as now of young that in your spirit you got a great spirit. So God wants that spirit to do what? Keep the commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Mommy, you go to church? Right, so mommy don't go to church, which means you're gonna mommy send you with us. Because we keep the commandments. And we want you to grow up to be a good young man. We want you when you block smoking weed. Next thing you know you get shoot, pass dropping off your behind. You gotta go with mommy. Right, so mommy gotta go. So listen up what you gotta do. Mommy, this last scripture for you. Give me Deuteronomy 6, verse 1. 1 and then verse 7. And that's it. 2 more scriptures and that's it. This is information from mommy and this is information for you. So you got the flyer, you can go on the website and you can go and look at the class. We got life class all on today. We got stuff for young children because I have a son too. I got 2 sons. And I got other persons that have children and we look at the same thing. And they go to school, what class you in? Yeah, class 4, common entrance class. And we, listen, I want you to do good stuff. What school you want to go to when you write common entrance? What school is that?
Kahit ka maayos ko.
Represent? Alright, listen to me. I want you aim for the sky, okay? And the sky means Harrison College, Queens College, Commonwealth. You understand? I want you to go beyond that. Because it should be in you, right? You look smart. You look like a very smart young man. And we want the best for you like God wants the best for you, right? Listen to this here.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that he might do them in the land whither you go to possess it.
We are in these lands and we're possessing it. We're living here. So God said, although you come in captivity, you can keep these laws. Verse 7.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
So this is what the parents should really be teaching the children. But if the parents don't know it, they're not able to teach them diligently. So although we can help, that's where we comes in. That's where Israel United in Christ steps in. You go on the website, look at the class, and you're able to be taught the commandments of God. Our mission is to teach our people the commandments so they can be a better person, a better young man. You can grow up to make right choices. A better young lady said, Mommy can be a better woman. That's how the God's mission is about. That's what our mission is. Read on.
And shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
Right, so in the house we can talk about the commandments. You can tell the son, don't know what God Christ is no white man, he's a black man. You are good, you are greatness, because you came from Christ's people. We are the same people. Christ was great, you are great.
And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down.
So this is when you're walking by the way, you stop and you're hearing the word now. So when you're going to lie down, you say a prayer before you go to bed, and remember the commandments on your head. What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example.